You are not here by accident. Pause for a second. Breathe. Before your mind rushes ahead, let this moment land. Something subtle brought you here. Not noise. Not pressure. Not urgency. A quiet pull. A gentle nudge you felt before you could explain it. And that alone already tells you something important. There is more order in your life than you've been giving credit for. Right now, as you listen, something is lining up behind the scenes. Not dramatically, not all at once, slowly, intentionally, in a way that protects you. You may not see it yet. Most people never do at first. Alignment rarely announces itself. It doesn't knock loudly. It whispers. It waits for the moment when you're still enough to notice. And here you are. There's a reason this message reached you today and not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today is when your mind is tired of forcing things. Today is when your heart is more open than usual, even if you don't realize it yet. Today is when the pieces you thought were scattered are quietly moving closer together. You've been carrying questions you don't say out loud. About direction. About timing. About whether the effort you've been making actually matters. About whether something unseen is paying attention. Listen carefully now. Nothing you've gone through has been wasted. Not the waiting. Not the confusion. Not even the moments that made you doubt yourself. Those moments weren't pauses in your journey. They were instructions. They were shaping your awareness, sharpening your intuition, teaching you what peace actually feels like when it arrives. Here's something most people don't hear often enough. Alignment doesn't feel like excitement first. It feels like relief. Relief that you don't have to chase so hard anymore. Relief that you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. Relief that you can finally stop fighting the current. If lately you felt strangely calm after a long stretch of chaos, that's not coincidence. If you've noticed certain doors closing without effort, that's not loss. If some people or habits are drifting away without conflict, that's not emptiness. That's alignment clearing space. You were never meant to carry everything forever. Some things were only meant to walk with you until you learned what you needed to learn. And now, something new is approaching, quietly, respectfully, at the right pace. You may think nothing is happening because there are no fireworks. But real change is often invisible at first. It starts internally. A shift in how you react. A softening in how you judge yourself. A new patience with the unknown. That's the beginning. Think about this. If your life truly had no direction, you wouldn't feel this pull toward understanding. You wouldn't be searching for meaning. You wouldn't be drawn to moments of reflection like this one. The very fact that you're here means your inner compass is working. Even when you felt lost, it was still guiding you, just away from what wasn't meant to last. There's something else you should know, and this part matters. Alignment doesn't mean everything becomes easy. It means everything becomes honest. You start seeing clearly where your energy belongs and where it doesn't. You stop forcing connections that drain you. You stop chasing outcomes that don't respect you. And slowly, without drama, your life begins to respond. Opportunities feel more natural. Conversations feel lighter. Decisions feel less heavy. You start trusting your timing instead of comparing it to someone else's. That's not luck. That's synchronization. You didn't miss your moment. Your moment is adjusting to fit who you've become. And who you've become is stronger, wiser, and more aware than the version of you that started this journey. If this message feels personal, it's because it is. Not because it was written for you specifically, but because truth recognizes those who are ready to hear it. So don't rush past this. Don't treat it like background noise. Let it settle. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to trust the unfolding. You are allowed to believe that something good is arranging itself gently around you. This is not the end of a chapter. It's the moment the pages stop fighting each other and begin to align. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me for a moment longer. Not because you're being asked to believe anything blindly, but because something inside you already recognizes this calm as familiar. There is a quiet intelligence moving through your life right now. It doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It doesn't compete for attention. It simply arranges. And the more you resist forcing outcomes, the more clearly you can feel it working. Most people misunderstand alignment. They imagine it as a sudden breakthrough, a dramatic change, a single moment where everything clicks. But real alignment is subtler than that. It begins with clarity, the kind that settles into your body before it reaches your mind. Have you noticed that some worries don't grip you the way they used to? That some questions feel less urgent now? That you're beginning to sense when something isn't meant for you, even before it causes pain? That's not emotional numbness. That's maturity. You are learning discernment. And discernment is one of the most powerful forms of intelligence a human being can develop. Here's a truth that may surprise you. Not everything that feels slow is delayed. Some things are ripening. Some outcomes require you to grow strong enough, patient enough, aware enough to receive them without breaking. If certain things haven't arrived yet, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because timing protects what matters. There are people who receive what they want too early and lose it just as quickly. You are being spared that lesson. Right now, your life is teaching you how to hold peace without clinging, ambition without anxiety, and love without losing yourself. These are not small lessons. These are foundations. And foundations are built quietly. You may have felt recently like stepping back, like observing more and reacting less, like choosing silence over explanation. That's not withdrawal, that's alignment refining your energy. You're no longer meant to convince everyone of your value. You're meant to embody it. When you stop chasing validation, something interesting happens. The right people begin to recognize you naturally. Conversations change. Opportunities feel cleaner. Relationships feel less exhausting. This is how life responds when you respect your own rhythm. Let me say something gently, but clearly, you are not behind. Comparison has been one of the biggest distractions in your journey. It made you question your pace, your progress, your path. But comparison only measures surfaces. It never measures depth. And you are deepening. You are learning how to regulate your emotions instead of suppressing them. You are understanding your body's signals instead of ignoring them. You are choosing growth that lasts, not quick fixes that fade. This is success in its early form. Success isn't just achievement. It's sustainability. It's being able to build without burning yourself out. It's being able to love without losing your balance. It's being able to dream without escaping reality. You're learning that now. There's something else happening too, and it's important. Your nervous system is calming. Your breathing is changing. Your reactions are slowing down. This is physical alignment, the kind that allows your body and mind to work together instead of against each other. When this happens, clarity improves, focus sharpens, energy stabilizes. You begin to make better decisions not because you're trying harder, but because you're listening better. And when you listen better, life doesn't have to repeat lessons as loudly. If you felt drawn to content like this lately, it's not because you're lost. It's because you're integrating. You're connecting ideas. You're building an internal framework that supports the future you're stepping into. This is education of the self, emotional, physical, and mental. The world rarely teaches this. But those who learn it move differently. They don't panic at delays. They don't cling to outcomes. They don't waste energy on what drains them. They choose alignment over urgency. Take a moment now and notice how your body feels as you listen. If there's a sense of calm, that's your system recognizing truth. Truth doesn't agitate, it grounds. And grounding is what allows growth to stay. If this message is resonating, allow yourself to stay present with it. Messages like this only work when they're received fully, not half, listened to while scrolling or rushing. And if you feel that this kind of clarity could help someone you care about, someone who's been doubting their path or feeling impatient with their progress, hold that thought. Sometimes sharing the right words at the right time can be a quiet act of support. If you find yourself wanting more moments like this, moments that slow the mind, strengthen the heart, and sharpen direction, staying connected matters. These messages are meant to meet you exactly where you are, again and again, as you move forward. For now, just stay here, because what's coming next isn't about motivation, it's about recognition. Recognition of how far you've already come, and why what's aligning now will matter more than you expect. Keep listening. Stay right here. This part matters more than you think. Because what you are about to hear is not motivation. It is recognition. The kind that settles deep in the body before the mind tries to analyze it. There is a reason you have felt slightly different lately. Not dramatically changed, just shifted. As if something inside you stepped back and started observing your life instead of being trapped inside every emotion. That shift is not random. Most people live entirely inside their reactions. Every thought pulls them. Every feeling controls the next decision. But at some point, quietly, without announcement, awareness separates from impulse. That separation is growth. And you are in it right now. Here is something few people are ever told clearly. Alignment begins the moment you stop arguing with reality and start learning from it. Not accepting everything passively. Not giving up, but listening instead of resisting. Think about how many times life tried to slow you down before you finally listened. Through fatigue. Through emotional exhaustion. Through moments where pushing harder simply stopped working. Those moments were not failures. They were invitations. Invitations to recalibrate. You were never meant to live in constant urgency. Your nervous system was not designed for endless pressure. Your body is not a machine. Your mind is not a battlefield. Yet you survived years of functioning as if they were. And now, something is correcting that imbalance. You may notice that you no longer want chaos disguised as excitement. Loud environments feel draining. Forced conversations feel heavy. Even some ambitions feel different, not smaller, but more refined. That's because your definition of success is evolving. Success is no longer just about reaching something. It's about sustaining it. It's about being able to live inside what you build without losing yourself. This is emotional education, the kind no one teaches you directly. You are learning that peace is not the absence of desire, but the presence of clarity. You can want more and still be calm. You can work toward goals without tying your worth to outcomes. That balance is rare, and it's being trained inside you now. Let's talk about timing, because this is where many people get stuck. You may feel like your life has been in preparation mode for a long time. Like you've been learning, unlearning, waiting, adjusting, while others seem to move faster. But speed is not the same as alignment. Some people arrive quickly at places they don't belong. Some reach milestones before they're ready to carry them. And when pressure meets unprepared systems, things collapse. You are being prepared to hold what lasts. That preparation happens internally first, through emotional regulation, through physical awareness, through learning when to rest and when to act. This is physical education too, understanding how your energy works, how your focus rises and falls, how your body responds to stress and calm. When you honor that, your performance improves naturally. Your decisions become cleaner. Your communication becomes clearer. Your confidence becomes quieter but stronger. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You stop forcing. And life responds differently to you. Have you noticed that when you stay grounded, things resolve faster? That when you don't panic, solutions appear more easily? That's not coincidence. That's coherence. When your internal state aligns with your external actions. This is why rushing rarely works. It creates noise. And noise blocks perception. Right now, your perception is sharpening. You're noticing patterns you ignored before. You're recognizing which efforts bring return and which ones drain you. You're sensing when to engage and when to step back. That's intelligence. And it didn't come from shortcuts. It came from lived experience. There is also something happening relationally. You may find that your tolerance for shallow connections is decreasing. Not out of judgment, but out of self-respect. You want depth, presence, mutual understanding. This doesn't mean isolation. It means selectivity. You are learning that connection should restore energy, not constantly consume it. And as this awareness grows, your environment begins to change. Not instantly, gradually, organically. The right conversations start finding you. The right information appears at the right moment. The right opportunities feel aligned with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. This is synchronization. And synchronization doesn't need force. Here's an important reminder you may need today. You are allowed to trust this process even if you can't fully explain it yet. Understanding always follows experience, not the other way around. You don't need to see the entire path. You only need to stay present with the step you're on. Presence is what keeps you from missing what's aligning. If you're listening to this and feeling a quiet sense of confirmation, stay with that feeling. Don't rush past it. Don't dismiss it. That feeling is your system recognizing truth. Truth doesn't overwhelm. It stabilizes. And stability is what allows sustainable success. The next phase of your life is not about proving anything. It's about applying what you've already learned. With patience. With intention. With self-respect. And what's powerful is this: once alignment begins, it keeps building on itself. Small choices compound. Calm decisions lead to better outcomes. Better outcomes reinforce trust. Trust changes everything. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop fearing pauses. You stop measuring yourself against timelines that were never meant for you. Instead, you move with awareness. And awareness attracts the right momentum. Stay here. Don't scroll away. Because the next part will bring clarity to something you've been sensing but haven't been able to name yet. What's aligning now is not just external. It's you. And once that alignment locks in, everything else starts responding naturally. Keep listening. Stay with this moment. Not because you need answers right now, but because something inside you is settling into understanding. There is a phase in every meaningful life where progress becomes invisible. Not because nothing is happening, but because what's happening can't be measured from the outside. This is that phase for you, and it's one of the most important ones. Most people misunderstand growth because they expect constant motion. They think forward movement always looks busy, loud, visible. But the most permanent changes occur when life becomes quieter, not noisier. Right now, something within you is reorganizing. Your priorities are shifting. Your tolerance levels are adjusting. Your definition of enough is becoming clearer. These changes don't announce themselves. They reveal themselves through what no longer feels right. You may have noticed that certain goals you once chased with intensity don't excite you the same way anymore. That doesn't mean you've lost ambition. It means your ambition has matured. You're no longer interested in winning at the cost of your peace. You're no longer impressed by surface-level success. You're no longer willing to trade long-term stability for short-term validation. This is alignment refining your direction. There's something deeply powerful about a person who no longer rushes to prove anything. That calm confidence doesn't come from certainty about the future. It comes from trust in the self. And trust is being built inside you now. Let's talk about effort for a moment. You've worked harder than most people realize. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. You've carried responsibility quietly. You've thought deeply about choices others make impulsively. You've questioned yourself in order to grow, not to break. That kind of effort leaves marks, not scars, but depth. And depth changes how life meets you. When depth forms, you stop needing constant reassurance. You stop asking for permission to rest. You stop apologizing for your pace. You start honoring your internal signals. This is physical education too, learning how your body responds to pressure, when it needs recovery, when it's ready for action. When you respect that rhythm, your energy becomes consistent instead of erratic. Consistency builds success. Not dramatic bursts. Not extremes, but steady, aligned action taken from a grounded place. You may have noticed that when you act from calm clarity, outcomes improve. Conversations go smoother. Decisions feel cleaner. Mistakes don't spiral into self-criticism. That's because alignment stabilizes your nervous system. A regulated system sees more options. A calm mind chooses better paths. A balanced body sustains effort longer. This is why alignment isn't passive, it's efficient. You are becoming efficient with your energy. There's also something happening in how you relate to others. You're starting to notice who respects your boundaries without resistance, who listens without trying to fix you, who meets you where you are instead of where they want you to be. These connections matter. They don't arrive by force. They arrive by resonance. As you become more aligned internally, your external world begins to reflect that alignment. Not instantly, but inevitably. You attract conversations that feel meaningful, opportunities that feel appropriate, relationships that feel balanced. And when something doesn't align, you feel it early, before it drains you. That awareness is protection. Not protection from life, but protection for your energy, your time, your focus. This is how sustainable success is built. Let me say something important here. Rest is not a pause in progress. Rest is part of progress. Your body integrates growth during stillness. Your mind connects insights during quiet. Your emotions stabilize when given space. If you felt called to slow down recently, that's not weakness. That's wisdom emerging. You are learning how to move without friction. And friction has been one of your greatest teachers. It taught you patience. It taught you boundaries. It taught you what you will no longer tolerate. Now, alignment is teaching you something new: ease. Ease doesn't mean lack of effort. It means effort applied in the right direction. Think about how different your life feels when you stop forcing outcomes. When you let conversations unfold. When you allow timing to cooperate instead of competing with it. Things still happen, but with less resistance. That's not luck. That's flow. You didn't stumble into this state. You earned it. Through reflection. Through discomfort. Through choosing growth even when it was quiet and lonely. And now, something subtle but powerful is forming. Momentum that doesn't exhaust you. This is the kind of momentum that carries people far, because it's built on alignment, not adrenaline. If you're still listening, it's because some part of you knows this phase matters. Knows that skipping past moments of understanding only delays clarity. So stay present. Let these words settle. You are not late. You are not off track. You are not missing anything meant for you. What's aligning now is not just your future, it's your relationship with yourself. And once that relationship stabilizes, everything else has a foundation to stand on. There is more unfolding, more clarity ahead, more depth waiting to be recognized. So remain here. Remain open. Remain patient. Because the next shift will feel quieter than you expect, and more powerful than you imagine. Keep listening. Before this ends, let yourself feel the quiet truth of where you are right now. Not where you wish you were. Not where you fear you might be. But here, in this exact moment, where everything you've lived through has brought you to a deeper understanding of yourself. This ending is not a stopping point. It's a settling point. There comes a time when growth no longer feels like climbing. It feels like standing firmly on ground that no longer shakes beneath you. That is what alignment feels like when it becomes real. You are standing there now. You don't need one more sign. You don't need permission. You don't need to rush toward certainty. Certainty is already forming, quietly, in how you move, how you choose, how you respond to life. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with clarity. There were times you felt unseen, times you felt delayed, times you wondered if your effort was invisible. But what was actually happening was preparation. Your mind was learning patience. Your body was learning balance. Your emotions were learning resilience. Those lessons did not come to punish you. They came to stabilize you. Because the life you are aligning with now does not require constant struggle. It requires presence. It requires consistency. It requires you to trust your own internal signals more than outside noise. And you are ready for that. You've learned something powerful. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. That discernment is success in its most mature form. It protects your focus. It preserves your strength. It allows your growth to continue without burnout. From this place, your actions will feel different. You will work with intention instead of pressure. You will rest without guilt. You will choose without fear of missing out. This is not withdrawal from life. This is mastery of it. The alignment happening now is subtle but permanent. It's not about dramatic change, it's about stable progress. The kind that compounds quietly over time. And here's something important to understand as this chapter closes. Your future does not need you to be perfect. It needs you to be present. Present with your energy. Present with your body. Present with your decisions. When you are present, you notice when to move and when to wait. You feel when to speak and when silence carries more power. You sense which direction feels expansive instead of draining. That is guidance. And it's already inside you. You don't need to search for it anymore. The calm you feel now, or the calm that's beginning to form, is not emptiness. It's space. Space for clarity. Space for growth. Space for something meaningful to enter without resistance. Life doesn't rush into crowded minds. It flows into open ones. And yours is opening. As this message comes to a close, let it leave you with one steady truth. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not waiting for life to begin. Life is responding to who you've become. And who you've become is someone who understands that real success is built gently, through awareness, balance, and self-respect. Carry this forward with you. Move calmly. Choose intentionally. Trust what's unfolding, because everything that needed to align already is.